today's video, I wanted to cover a new kind of content, which is recommended books or things worth reading. If you're curious about psychedelic research and the history of why these compounds went underground, How to Change Your Mind is a great place to get you started. Before we get too far ahead, I wanted to share a quote from the book that I thought captured the essence of what these compounds might do for society.
Patrick had changed. He had a sense of patience he had never had before. And with me had real joy about things. It was as if he had been relieved of the duty of caring about the details of life. And he could let that all go. Now it was about being with people. Enjoying his sandwich and the walk on the promenade. It was as if we lived a lifetime in a year. Lisa Metz recalling her husband Patrick Metz after participating in NYU psilocybin trial for terminal diagnosed cancer patients, page 356.
Michael Pollan is one of the best journalists out there. I learned much about the history of psychedelics. It took a life of its own with people like Timothy Leary who fanned the flames. These compounds escaped the lab and into the mainstream sooner than what society was ready for. There seems to be a proclivity for these compounds to turn socially transformative. When the revolution comes too soon, the status quo has a backlash. How to Change Your Mind dives into the history of psychedelics and who the people were that started the research. In the latter half of the book, examines the neuroscience and psychotherapeutic research that is now in a resurgence after being pushed underground. Michael Pollan says it best for trying to understand how psychedelics may affect the brain. It feels like you have a fresh coat of snow, especially at later age. As an analogy, think of shaking a snow globe. The idea is that as we age, we solidify our neural pathways and they become like ruts in a road. When you take a psychedelic like psilocybin, in essence, you are shaking the snow globe and smoothing over pathways, which allows you to come to situations with a fresh perspective. For a deeper dive cited in this book, read The Entropic Brain, A Theory of Conscious States Informed by Neuroimaging Research and Psychedelic Drugs by Robin Carhart-Harris, who is the head of the Center for Psychedelic Research at the Imperial College London. Overall, this book is incredibly transformative. I think it is well worth your time to explore this complex and wide-ranging topic because you're going to hear lots of different ideas in this space that a lot of people are just going to pull out of a hat. Michael Pollan does a great job here because he quantifies his research and he sets the stage for someone who is not a believer, because a lot of people in this space become believers before they ever try things. He tries to be as impartial as possible before he ever uses these compounds. I think that is very important in the world of trying to understand something as complex as psychedelic research. And with that, everyone, get reading.